Hey everybody, that's a excuse me, a Hungarian partridge feather, natural. These are probably the most popular, near as I can tell from what I've seen, uh, uh, hackles for your Tenkara fly, right? They're because for a number of reasons, a lot of people have them around for their soft hackles. People have them uh, because they're cheap and they dress up other flies very nicely. If you have to, let me show you how to prepare one real quick. I'm gonna take it, or no, here I've got one off camera, and it's a brown one. It's dyed brown that I'm working with here. That is a natural right there. Right. Okay, so there's a prepared brown one. See, I removed all this stuff right here and left that there. And then what you do, I'm going to take it away. Bah. Um, Pair it a little further, right? And you would do this with a soft tackle too, so you're sort of learning how to tie two flies at one time. Um, you would do that, sort of spread most of it out like that, splay it, and tie that in, right? As it would be coming from, let's see, if we're going from the bend of the hook forward, it would be like tie it that way, right? Okay, so that is the Hungarian partridge. Pretty inexpensive and useful for a lot of different things. So honestly, that's what I would get, and that's what I use most of the time when I'm tying Tenkara. However, there are others. Bye. Now, you can get some really inexpensive hackle these days, right? There's a brown dry fly hackle for uh, for not that much. And I think we're still in crisis mode where hackle is concerned. So all that's available is sort of this inexpensive hackle. We'll call it. It's not cheap, but it's inexpensive. That's a grizzly hackle. Right, so you could tie up a nice parachute Adams. That's a good thing too. Is you can use these. You see how it tapers, kind of. You can use, on a big hook, you can use that part, and on a smaller hook, you can use that part. Right? I don't use a hackle gauge usually because I'm so experienced. I'm like a pro, man. Okay, these guys are going away. This is probably the most beautiful feather in my collection. I'll never use it, but if you happen to hunt ruffed grouse, isn't that beautiful? I think I'm gonna inlay that exact feather into my. I've got a whole bag of them here. I don't know why that one, but maybe because it popped into my hand. I think I'm gonna inlay that into my small stream rod. I think. Maybe even my Tenkara arrangement. Can I? Yeah, I can. That can be done. I'll show you how someday. So, and you would prepare it the same way, clearly, that you would prepare a partridge feather. Um. Oh. And then, I mean, equally as good and much, much cheaper is a saddle hackle for your. You tie woolly buggers with this stuff. And here's a black one, and I guess it would be that's the part you would use. So again, right? You have the little part, smaller hook right there, larger hook right there. Now I'm going to recommend again. I don't know if you guys heard me recommend this before. Use small hooks because the ones that I'm about to show you this here. Um, the ones they sell on online at the store, that sort of thing, they're huge, right? And it's sort of like taking a long sword to a earthworm. It's too big, right? So matter of fact, here, let's have a look. Okay. So that is a store-bought, professional, I guess, Tenkara fly, right? And you can see that it's probably a natural Hungarian partridge, and There's some peacock herl right there. That's always good to get. It's cheap. And thread, and that's it. All right. So these are my cool forceps. Sorry, hemostats. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the size hook I tie on for relative size. The largest I will go is this. That's a 2488H or 2488 14. That's huge, right? For when we're talking like little brook trout in the mountains, which is why they keep Tenkara originates in the mountains of Japan, and it's recommended by the big Tenkara company in the United States that you go to mountain streams, where fast flowing is always good because this doesn't really look like anything in nature, and it's magnetized, and yeah, so I mean you're going to be catching not that big a fish, right? So and then look how huge that is by comparison, right? So you got so it'd be like it's twice the size of the 14. Now that's the 16. Tie on that. It's got a barb too, the 2488 series. So I would, if you want to be my friend, you'll tie on a 2488 either H or just straight up 2488, and you will debarb it, please, kindly. And that's easy enough to do. So that's really that as far as that goes. One other thing I would say is that if you're looking for a nymph hook, these are really good, right? I mean, it's harder to get the proportions right on them, but if you can tie like a pheasant tail or something like that on it, it's a murderer. I don't know why, but it will slay lunko or small fish or smaller fish or big fish often around where I live. So there's also I've seen this. I don't recommend it. Beads on your Tenkara fly, which I'm not real big on beads, just because I saw a rod tip shatter when it made contact with a bead head pheasant tail. Speaking of pheasant tail, and it was just, I mean, it was tragic. The rod was eventually replaced 6 months later for free, lifetime guarantee. But yeah, bees, don't do that. So thanks, guys. I will talk to you soon.